Hi, welcome. You see, we are in another version of the brand review video, and you have seen down below that today we're talking about Danessa Myricks Beauty. I actually do have only, no wait, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 5? Yeah. 5 products from Danessa Myricks Beauty are currently in my collection. I do have some that I decluttered, but now let's just head into the video because of course most important is eye stuff as usual. And I have actually 2 palettes from Danessa Myricks. One being the new Lightwork 5 that I will now use for the 3rd or 4th time. Like, I have used it a couple times for videos, but also off camera, of course, because look at this. Oh, I think I just literally peed myself. And as of today, like, I'm filming this October 28th, I think is today. Yeah. I also got another palette from Danessa Myricks, and I have to say, this is a drunk purchase. Okay, I don't drink to the level that I'm drunk, but I think I would have ordered this drunk, but I also order stuff like this when I'm tired. I ordered the Groundwork palette. I have literally no idea why. I don't even know what this is. Like, for some reason I want to use stone for my brows, so I think we are going to do this, for example, and the rest for the eyes. Yeah, we will see what we can do with this. I try to incorporate this as much as possible, but I don't see myself using this forever, kind of, but maybe I am. I have actually just touched it because I wanted to find out what the fuck is the like pomade and what's the powder. So without further ado, let's dig into this. Usually I would wear a headband, but since I do have some slight curls going on, just pin them back. By the way, if you think, oh, what's wrong with her eye? I said it in a video before, I do have, once again, one of those infections on the eye. In Germany, it's called ein Zug. That means when you have like air blowing through the broom and you're like in the middle and then the air is hitting you, then the muscles and the skin can get kind of an infection. And somebody commented what this is called in English. If please, I try to find it in the videos, but I can't. So let me please know down below how you call this in English, because it basically hurts as if somebody punched me, like a black eye. That's the feeling that I imagine having a black eye, because I never had a black eye in my life, which I'm not mad about. And I also am a bit sick, so if I sound a bit stuffy or so, I am. That's the reason why I am. I also do have, like pain inside my ear, and I do have ear drops for that because it's regularly like that. Like, why am I so whiny today? Let's just go into the makeup. I'm sorry. So if you're also curious about this palette, the bigger pans are always like pomade, the like velvet cream or so, and the small pans beside that are the powders. And you can also, yeah, you can remove all of them and mix and match like you want to. I don't know in what kind of scenario I would do this, because if I would do this, my brain will probably be set on fire. People who are rearranging their Natasha Denona palettes, how are you doing in life? I could never, like, And I don't know who it was, but somebody told me, or was it in a video or was it a friend? I have no idea, but they used the sandstone shade as eye primer actually, so we will try that today instead of my regular eye primer that I would use. Let's try to use this as eye primer, because you know it reminds me a bit of the MAC paint pots. You know, this is kind of what I imagine this thing doing. Smoothing, giving a nice base, and of course correcting the color a bit. I mean, the difference is visible, is there. You see the passion that I have for this channel, that I even do my eye makeup with this on. I mean, I might take this off after I'm done filming because it's Saturday and I have nowhere to go today, but I still do this because I love you. And I actually, I don't want to break the schedule, kind of. So for face primer, I will be using the I wanted to say Danessa Myricks, but it's Danessa Myricks in this video. The Yummy Skin, I hate the name. This is the blurring balm, and I don't say blurring balm powder because this is not a powder. This is a blurring balm. You can get this in different skin colors, which is really, really cool, but I got the like translucent one, and you can probably see how much I like this because I bought this somewhere in summer, and this is where I am. What should I say? But please keep in mind that this blurring balm comes with a third of the product, half, a bit more than half of the product that you would usually get in a primer. Like this has only 18 gram of product, while a usual face primer comes with a 30 gram or like 30 mil or like the fluid ounce, something like in that kind of level. So this is a bit less than your typical primer. And therefore it's a bit expensive for that. Let me just say this, but do you know how awesome this is? I love it. This has oxalate in it, which is a ingredient that I was too lazy to Google, but from what I know from the product description, it is basically helping to control the oils. It helps to maintain a nice like skin barrier in a way that you have like this smooth texture on the face. And this motherfucking dog does not shut up. The blurring balm actually didn't make it to the top one for the primers, so I already filmed my end of year ranking for primers because I am not planning to add any new primer, which is nice for me, but I love it. I really, really do. If you compare this with Tatcha, I would say Danessa Myricks 1,000 times because Tatcha is bullshit. I'm sorry. I know it's super expensive. It's like super love, but it's so freaking irritating to my skin. I'm very sad actually about this because I wanted to love, but I can't. And since we have this beautiful Lightwork 5 palette, I actually don't want to use a lot of the mattes. I just want to use the Groundwork palette to create kind of a defined eye shape and then do most of the work with this palette because it's so beautiful. And I think today we are also using this as face highlight. Like I want to be very experimental, so artsy. So I'm starting this look with a desert shade from the Groundwork palette. I'm actually starting with the pomade because I want to see how this blends as cream shade. I'm not a cream eyeshadow girl, but I kind of see the value in having a cream shade to have like a base for your eye look. I think this can work. And depending on the cream, like this is a very easy to blend cream. It can either be quite easy or quite hard, but this seems to work very nice. So what I'm doing is I'm using this desert shade and I want to build up a transition area. Not so much a defined crease, just a transition area, because then I will go in a second with a darker shade, but with a powder version to set it down on one side, but also to define it on the other. But I feel like doing a cream eyeshadow transition area kind of helps. It helps with a blend, at least in my head, that makes sense. Well, I'm not pro. But do you know who's a pro? Danessa Myricks. I'm now going into core, but in the powder shade, and I want to do a like warm eye. So in case you don't know, Danessa Myricks is actually a self-taught MUA from New York City, specifically from Harlem. At least that's what I found by research. I think her whole career is very, very special because actually Danessa Myricks started out her career as a worker behind the scenes in like different magazines, like beauty stuff. And for example, one of the magazines she worked for was the One World magazine by Russell Simons. Danessa Myricks said in an interview or like told the story of how she got the job for that position. And that, in my opinion, kind of already shows what kind of person she is. Because when Russell Simons, I actually don't know who he is, but I'm just pretending that I do. I was just too lazy to Google. I'm sorry. But when Russell Simons basically released the magazine, she was head over heels. That's what she said. And as she's a New York girl, as she said, she went to a club with a friend, and well, the universe helped her, and Russell Simons was at that club too. She went up to him, looked him straight in the eye, and said, "I love your magazine. How can I work for you?" And what happened, he did not push her away and said, like, "Go fuck yourself." He handed her a card with contacts for the like HR or like the hiring people, and she called them, and what a coincidence. The owner, basically, like the owner of the company there, was the same one who owned the magazines that she already did the beauty stuff for. So she was hired for the One Word magazine and started to do like the beauty stuff behind the scenes. I want to go into the black shade, but it might be too much. A bit. We take a small pencil brush and I do a bit of the black powder. I really enjoy the way these looks, like very soft, very smooth. So Danessa Myricks does describe herself at that time as the nerdy corporate girl that was not recognized by anybody, and she was basically always in the background of shoots, and she was there and she kind of saw how the makeup artists, the photographers, the model, they hired people, and she admired the whole transformation process that she witnessed from those models, seeing how the makeup artists basically did their magic and how they turned those models from being beautiful into being editorial beautiful or into being completely different persons just for the theme of the photo shoot. Then one very sad day, the owner of the company came up to her and said, "You know what, Danessa, I like you, so I tell you, because also you have kids, we are closing down." She said in that interview that I read that she was really like devastated, and she described this moment as, you know, the world flashing before her eyes, because she always loved what she did, even though it was only behind the scenes. She loved it. She lived that. And that was actually the very moment. She was 30 years old when she was like, "You know what? I become a makeup artist because I admire that art so much." Can we just please talk for a moment about the fact how easy that was? And I have to admit, like the crease tone itself was not the best choice for me because it's a bit like poop, but the whole vibe, even with the black, it blended out so soft. I didn't want to like that. But on the other hand, I'm like, I bought it, so I have to like it. You know, I always like to think that everything that we do, everything that happens to us has kind of a purpose. There is a reason why a company closes. There is a reason why you didn't get the promotion at that point in your life. There is just a reason why the traffic lights were red instead of green at that moment that you went on the straight, like on the, it's a crossing in German, in English? I think it's crossing. And I said I wanted to do something warm, but not too warm, but warm. So you know what? Let's take Fierce. This looks so delicious. I want to lick my brush. And I press Fierce on the eye. So since Danessa Myricks used to work then for magazines, she had contacts. And then there was this specific photographer who's called Eric van Lockhart, who basically always believed in her. And he was the one that did like, you know, he had the contacts and he helped her a lot. He was the reason, she said, that she was published in so many magazines, even though she was still a beginner. She was learning from master classes. She's self-taught through and through. And he helped her to get through the door, get those contacts, and get a name in the business. I'm now tapping into the Loft shade, and I apply this on the rest of the lid. And here where both meet, I will blend it over, and then we go over it with the Fierce shade again. So when all that happened and she started to put her foot into the makeup world, there is a long history of things that have happened. She started also to teach at a certain like masterclasses thing, and she was seen by other people from bigger companies who came up to her, and basically they connected her with other names in the whole company and in the whole beauty industry. And then at a certain point, I think like a manager or a product manager, whatever, from Kiss, the brand who makes these fabulous lashes, came up to her and was like, you know what, we love your vision. Do you want to work with us? And she actually designed a full collection of Kiss lashes. For foundation, I will be using the Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. Out of all the skin tints that I tried this summer, like Summer Fridays, Fenty Eavesdrop, then I also tried the Chanel Water Fresh, I have Rose Ink, I have the Hourglass one. This is it. It's so good. I really enjoyed it. I wear, by the way, the shade 1, and you might be shocked now because this is a completely different color than my skin, but trust the process. First of all, it's a skin tint, and second, look at what happens when I start blending. It's just evening out. It has enough coverage in my opinion, but it's not too much. And I did on purpose not apply concealer, she said. Well, actually, she just realized that she forgot putting on concealer, but is trying to sell it as it was on purpose. Okay, where was I? Okay, I did not apply concealer today, so you can see how the skin tint is actually covering everything. And to be honest, with patches like this is not a breakout, this is not a pimple, this is a skin picking spot because I literally rip off the skin. It's normal that a foundation does not cover this. No foundation does this with a brush. Like even my fullest coverage one, which is I think the, it's either Clé de Peau, the Radiant Natural Fluid one, or the Tom Ford Shade Illuminate. I think this is my most coverage ones. Even they do not cover this, but what I do is I take some more of the skin tint now, and then I specifically tap this on those areas where I need some more coverage, like so, and then I go over it with a sponge. And I do not distribute this, I try to keep it in that one area, and you see it's not full coverage still, it's just a little bit more like, I don't know, fogged away. Not fucked like fogged from fog, like the fog. I apply some concealer to that specific one and blend it in. And the thing is, you see, I just applied the tiniest amount of concealer. It does work with the skin tint. With a lot of skin tints, you have the problem that because it's a skin tint, it's very light coverage to no coverage to just like evening out abilities. A concealer, like for example the NARS Soft Matte Concealer in a pot, can look super weird, which does not with a skin tint. Just to show you, not only is this a great product, it's also working with other products that have a different level of coverage because it's so easy, blendable and spreadable. So the next product from Danessa Myricks I'm going to use is the Evolution Powder, and I do only have the shade Pink. This is the new version. I have heard only good things about this powder, but since I am currently, since a couple of months or so, very obsessed with pink powder. And I have to admit, in my very first impression, I said that I don't like this applied with a powder puff, but to be honest, it's awesome with a puff. I love it. I do use like the pointy tip, and then I really press it in like very, very short, soft, like tapping motions. And that's it. And it's so smooth, so set. It's just stunning. And I always set also in between my brows and around the nose with my under eye setting powder. And if you were asking, why are you so red in your face? It's because I used a bit too much blush. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Watermelon Pop, I don't know, one of the matte cream blushes, and I basically did a tiny bit too much, but since I always do like powder then on top, we can live with that. So let's finish the eyes now. I'm going into Tourmaline again, but this time on the cream side. I'm a bit confused. There is, in some of these shades, a clear layer of fuzz on top. Let me show you that in a close-up. I hope you can see. I don't know if you can tell. I tapped into that Tourmaline cream already, but there is a layer of fuzz. I have read about this on Reddit. I have seen that people were freaking out like a Jaclyn Hill scandal 2.0. There is this fuzz also on the shade Harvest, and I just immediately, I touched it and it kind of, it goes away as soon as you touch the shade. I have to admit that the fuzz kind of sticked to the brush. So it's like, this is not a like growing from the inside thing. It's a laying on top thing. So I don't know. It's like, is it pigment that was not mixed in? Is it dust? Is it, I don't know. I don't have a feeling that this is like harmful or anything. It just looks very questionable, but I haven't found any like real answer to this. But what I do now with this black cream is I apply this on my lower lash line, like so. But of course not all the way in, just like half of it. Also create the tiniest wing on this outside, like just you see this, and then I just do a straight line on this, basically like a wing starting from the lower lash line, if that makes any sense. To me, the description makes sense. I'm now taking a smudger brush and I'm going into Mirage, and I use this to blend from the inner part of the lower lashes and then underneath the black too. So I think the most surprising fact that I found about Danessa Myricks is not about her talent, is not about her being completely self-taught and being the absolute fucking banger in this whole industry. It's not even about her university that we are going to talk about in a minute. It's the thing with Benefit. We all know Benefit, the brand, the iconic, the Benettins, iconic brow stuff. And did you know that the iconic brow line that you know today, all these beautiful iconic products, they were all developed by Danessa Myricks, because she used to work for full 5 years at Benefit as Senior Product Development Manager or something like that, whatever the title is. She's responsible for the iconic Benefit brow stuff. I did not know this. So for my inner corner highlight, I'm going into the shade Inspiring, and I don't know why I'm so keen with the middle row in this palette. So let me apply now my inner corner highlight. And of course a bit into the crease and on the lower lashes, like so. I like the contrast of the whole look being very warm and the inner corner being a gray silver. And I have some fallout here, but that's no problem because we're just going to flick it off. That was actually a lot of fallout. I feel like I'm not centered today. Sorry if the whole video is like not really in proportion or whatever. I do want to add something colorful too. So let's tap into Powerful now. I use one of those very flat brushes and I apply Powerful underneath the lower lashes like that. And I have chunks of fallout going on, but that's okay. I did not use a glitter glue or sprayed my brush or whatever. And I think my brush choice was not clever, but we will work with what we have now. So this is not as colorful as I anticipated, but actually this kind of ties the look together because you have a reddish purple vibe going on the upper lid and now a purple going on the lower lash line. Fine to me, but now we need the spoolie again. I have no idea what kind of makeup I would wear if I had no spoolie, because then I would have fallout all over the motherfucking face. Since I don't have another Evolution powder that I would now, or I could now use on the face, I am using the Vive Modern Radiance powder on top because this is, it has a bit of color going on, but it's mostly translucent. And as I said, I try to use as many shades as possible, so I'm using now the Stone shade to do my brows. So when I read all those interviews with Danessa Myricks and the stories of how she became who she is today, I read actually something very, very sad. And that made me think a lot, and I'm not sure what I should feel. In 2015, Danessa Myricks finally launched Danessa Myricks Beauty for a very simple reason. The reason was that when she was a teen, she made some very, very disgusting experiences with being not able to purchase makeup from a makeup store or from a drugstore. She had to buy her makeup from a theater store, like movie makeup, because they were the only ones who had her shade depth. Think about the fact how you have to feel as a teenager who is already insecure as fuck. Then having acne, you know, breakouts and stuff, and you're more insecure than ever. And you're not able to get things at a normal makeup store. You have to go to like a movie theater makeup store to get what you need. And let me just talk about the shade of brows. I don't know if this translates on camera, we'll see it when I edit, but here in my mirror it looks like now I have green brows. I am not a fan. So I try to now correct that with the powder. Maybe that's a bit better. Yes, the powder is better. The other thing that Danessa Myricks always said is that she was actually not a fan of this, you can use a product only for this, and this product you need to use for this mentality. She wanted to have multi-use products. And now let's take a close look at the Danessa Myricks line. This is what we have now. We have multi-use products. I mean, just look at the Groundwork palette that I'm working with. This is not an eyeshadow palette. This is a multi-use palette. All of these shades can be used on the eyes, on the face, as you've seen, on the brows. You can probably use shades like Stone or Sculpted and Chiseled also as contour, which I for a moment thought of, but I don't have brushes that really fit into those small pans, so therefore it's a bit too small to use it like that. And just look at the fact that you have basically a cream and the matching powder for everything. So it's thought out. And to be honest, with the powder now in the brows, still not my perfect tone of brows, and I'm missing my pencil, to be honest, but it's something I could live on. Like, if I, for whatever reason, would travel and forget my brow stuff, but I have had this, I can live with that. I don't know in what scenario this is going to be happening. So I'm setting them now with the Patrick Ta Brow Gel. I still don't like it, but I want to use it up because I paid much money for this, since this is, I don't know, 30 euro on Cult Beauty, 27 euro, something like that. I completely forgot for the eyes. I do have 3 of her Infinite Chrome Flakes. I do have the shades Strobe Light, Firefly and Lightning Bolt, and I think Firefly I used already, but I haven't used one of these. Which one could match? Because I want to incorporate that now. We're using Firefly, and I'm using this to top this inner corner, because Firefly is a transparent shade that shifts purple. I love these. These little pots of magic are so beautiful that I want to have all of them, but I only have 3. But I want to have all of them. They are basically crushed chromes, like chrome flakes, in a mixing medium that makes them like a cream, but they dry down completely waterproof and smudge proof. So let's just put this, Oh, do you see that? Oh my god. I think the last time that I used one of them, I haven't used it as inner corner highlight. I used it all over the lid and I was already over the fucking moon. But this is now a completely new level. Do you see this effect? I hope you can tell on camera, because with one angle they're here and in the other angle they're not. And these like glitchy shades, this is what I absolutely love. And you can totally use them as highlight too. Because of her teenage experience, let me just apply some bronzer to the cheeks using the NARS Laguna 1. She just wanted to create something that is more diverse, more shade options, that is not excluding people from products, that is giving everybody the opportunity to use it. And I think so far, from what I've seen from the brand, she did a great job with that. Everything in her whole line Also these, the palettes, I mean, even the powder is multi-use. This is her goal. She truly wants to create, I would say she's not, her goal is not to create makeup. She wants to create art supplies, because in the eyes of Danessa Myricks, makeup is an art form. Same as I feel like it. It's art. Makeup is true art to me. So I also said that we are going to use this as highlight today. So I also said that we want to do like the multi-use vibe. So I'm using the shade Protected over here today as my face highlight. And I think the best brush that I can do this with is my Real Techniques setting brush. This is like the OG best highlighter brush. It's like matching the vibe of the eye. Like, oh, I'm so good. I thought about using one of the blue shades, like the silver blues, but this is definitely the better choice. I'm currently in a brow bone highlight era, so I'm using Invincible. I know this is one of those flaky shades, but if you are careful, you can use this very like soft too. And as I said, I'm in a brow bone highlight area, so let me apply that over here. The very special thing about the Lightworks palette is that this does not only play with color and multi-chromes. I mean, we've seen it before. Every other indie brand is doing this. This is playing with texture. A lot of people do actually criticize the texture because it's flaky, it's not smooth. I mean, just look at this brow bone highlight. Can you tell that this is not one single swipe of color? I think it's, I hope at least, it's visible that this is now like little specks of glitter because of the way I applied this on the brow bone. If I would tap this on like with a finger, I would end up with bigger flakes. If I apply this with a glitter glue and the brush, I'm able to break up these flakes and get like one layer of product. I love the fact that in those palettes, especially the Lightworks, you get not only different shades and different finishes and different shifts of multi-chromes, you get different textures. Okay, so this is now our finished Danessa Myricks look. On the lips, by the way, I'm wearing the Charlotte Tilbury lip blur in the shade Rose. And generally, I want to just point out that the whole vibe of Danessa Myricks and Danessa Myricks Beauty is not creating standard makeup, following beauty standards, doing what everybody else is doing. She stated herself that she doesn't care what other people do. She wants to express what she wants to do. And that is also the whole vibe that I get from the brand. Push boundaries of beauty, express yourself, encouraging people to express art, to discover their own way of art. And this is something that I highly, highly value in brands. For example, like Isamaya Beauty is the same thing. It's all about expressing art, encouraging art, and just be whatever the fuck you want to be in whatever kind of environment you want to be. I love that, and I love that about Danessa Myricks, and actually just learning about that, learning about her values and her goals makes this brand much more likable for me. Like, I liked the brand before, don't get me wrong, but it was never a brand where I was like, I was looking forward to their like releases. I was constantly checking on their releases. I do have a bit of a different angle now on their products, and I think that is just something that I learned for myself, and now maybe I'm looking like forward to their releases. Like the Lightworks, definitely. So before we talk about the products that I already had from Danessa Myricks Beauty and maybe decluttered, let's talk about some really cool thing that I have still left on my piece of paper here, and that is the Danessa Myricks Beauty University. And if you've never heard of that, no problem. It's an online school. It's a virtual makeup school where you can find free mini courses and how-to videos. You can find like a subscription service that is $20 a month or so, or €20 a month, where you have specific topics that are covered in like 60 or 90-minute courses, but you also have like on-demand courses for very specific topics. So what I found, for example, makeup for photographs, the power of the three, you know, the phase 3, dimensional skin for a colored skin, mastering makeup mixology, you know, all those very specific topics. And she's working with really interesting teachers, it's all makeup artists. For example, Timothy Hung, James Vincent, Olga Tamina, Roshar. I googled all of those names, and they're like really big artists, like maybe not social media wise, but like big in the industry. And a name that I stumbled across and I was like, oh really, Linda Holmberg. If you don't know her, she's the owner of LH Cosmetics. She's a Swedish makeup artist. I personally really like the way she does makeup. I absolutely enjoy this. And I was surprised to see her face on the like list of people who do masterclasses in that school. In general, the prices for those courses range somewhere between $20 per course and $125, all depending on the topic and who's of course doing that. Some of these are subscription exclusive, but as I said, $20 a month is actually really good for having that kind of makeup education in an online platform. I have not seen a video, but from the reviews, from what I saw, what people said about this is probably a really good offering. Products that I would like from the brand Danessa Myricks Beauty are, for example, the blush bombs. I would love to try these, but I have so many cream blushes. I just decluttered them. Maybe I will next year tackle them. I also want to try some of her like twin flames. These are like liquid eyeshadows, but as I said, I do have enough, so I'm waiting. But these are very interesting to me. What I have tried and decluttered are the Lightworks 4 palette. And I decluttered that palette because of the middle row. If you remember Lightworks 4, you had like the upper and lower row were also like the small round pans with pressed multi-chromes. They were awesome. 4 of those shades had a translucent base. Oh, they were delicious. But the middle row was a bit problematic. There were 2 of her chrome flakes, but in a pressed version, and to use them you actually had to take your finger, push it on the pan, rub really hard like you're rubbing a, can I say this on YouTube? Like you're rubbing a clit, and then try to get some color payoff. It was really hard to do. That's what she said. And then there were 2 aqua liners, so you had to like cake liners, but they had not the like cake liner consistency. They were, I don't know, like no matter how less water I added, like it was so like the droplet that I added was not even visible. Still no color payoff. It was so watery that this didn't happen. But I don't know why, but I kind of wish I still had Lightworks 4. I don't know. But Lightworks 5 is much better in my opinion. And I also decluttered her cream contour. She has different shades of a cream contour, and I had light 1, and light 1 was way too dark and warm for me. So it did not work for my undertone as contour, but that's completely fine. Personally, I think the brand Danessa Myricks Beauty has a very special place in the whole industry, and she has, or like the brand has a place that is definitely earned. I actually don't want to miss the brand because especially with palettes like the Lightwork 5, for example, show me a brand who has this mix out of texture, of shifts, of finishes in one palette. People are criticizing the price of this because it is quite expensive, but you get 18 shades. You get 18 beautiful shades. The same people who criticize paying $125 for this Danessa Myricks Beauty beautiful palette, they also suck on Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. Like, what the fuck? They're the same price range, but only 10 instead of 18 shades. And the quality? I'm sorry, Pat McGrath is not as good at this. And Pat McGrath special shades, they dream of being like this. I'm honest, that's just my opinion. With this Groundwork palette, to be honest, I'm not really sure. I kind of like what I did, you know? I kind of like the way they work. I like the softness behind this, and I see actually that this could be a very versatile way of incorporating neutrals. But now it's your turn. Do you have anything from Danessa Myricks Beauty? If so, what is your favorite item? And if not, what is holding you back from trying them? Are you afraid of their like textures or their like multi-use approach on makeup? Or is it really just a price thing to you? Let me please know down below. Let's discuss like adults. And then I hope you also check out the info box down below for all the fun links to the other socials and to some shops that, you know, I'm happy to announce, even in the Danessa Myricks video, that I'm actually affiliated now with Natasha Denona, which is something that I criticize her so much, and then now I'm affiliated with them. Fine, I really do like that. So thank you to the people who have already used those links and codes that I have in my info box down below. You are the fucking most awesome people on this planet Earth, and I hope you stay here and subscribe, because this is the biggest support actually that you can give. Subscribe, comment, like, engage with this content so that I can reach more people and that our wonderful family of adults and open-minded people can grow every single day further. Thank you so much for staying here and watching, and I will see you in the next one.